enjoy the ride with Crystal Petrie Consult.
Hello, my name is Crystal Petrie, and you are watching the Crystal Petrie Consulting Network. Thank you so much for tuning in to my series entitled Real Servants. And today I'm talking about thinking like a servant. Service starts in your mind, just like everything else. Everything starts in your mind, including being a servant or maybe not being a servant. To be a servant requires a mental shift, a change in the way you think, and a change in your attitude. God is always more interested in why we do something rather than what we do. Attitudes count more than achievements, and real servants understand that. Real servants serve with the mindset of a servant, with the mindset of who can I help today? How can I be of service today? Servants think more about others than they think about themselves. Servants focus on others and not themselves. Now, this is true humility. Not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves less. Did you get that? Let me say it one more time. True humility is not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves less. When we stop focusing on our needs, we become so much more aware of the needs around us. You can't be a real servant and be full of yourself. Thinking like a servant and being a servant is difficult because it goes against our very nature. Humans by nature are born into this world selfish. Let's take a moment and think about that. As babies, we cry, we throw a fit, we kick our feet when we don't get what we want when we want it. And most of the times, that continues in us as we grow into adults and as we grow into teenagers. And maybe we are not on the floor kicking and screaming and doing all of that, but the tantrums are still there. And most of us still get upset when we don't get what we want when we want it. It just reveals itself in a different manner. So the mental shift is most important when you become a real servant. There has to be that mental shift. You have to think about serving differently than you thought about it before. You have to know that serving others is so much more important. And when you have that mental shift and you become a real servant, it has to happen and it has to remain. So you can't just be a real servant during Thanksgiving. It can't be your New Year's resolution. For the first 30 days, I'm going to serve. On the weekends, I'm going to serve. We must serve every chance that we get. We must serve because it's a Tuesday. We must serve because it's a Wednesday. We must serve because that is what we are called to do. Thinking like a servant is and must be continuous. Thinking like a servant must be habitual. Thank you so much for tuning in to my amazing series on being a real servant. Stay tuned for my final part in my 7-part series entitled Being a Real Servant. Stay social with me, everyone. Subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below. Let me know what has been your biggest takeaway in this series entitled Real Servants. What has been your aha moments, as Oprah Winfrey would say? I want to hear all about it. Let's continue this discussion in the comments. Join in on the conversation on being a real servant.
Come on, let's go on a journey. Sit back, buckle up, enjoy the ride.